So today's session will work on cache management. As I mentioned in the course content, the same I take in here. The first point is cache management basic configuration. So when you compare with EBS, in EBS, you may work on manual reconciliation or automatic reconciliation or any activity in cache management. To just start working on cache management in EBS, we have to set up, we have to do one mandatory setup, that is nothing but system parameters. We'll go and set the system parameters where we can set up those system parameters for our legal entity, right? We'll go and select our legal entity and we'll be selecting the starting date, from which date of the bank statements we can reconcile in that application. These information will provide. Okay, so that's how we'll do the basic setup, but in Fusion case that setup also not mandatory. Okay, that setup is not mandatory. The similar setup we don't have in the Fusion. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, done. And if you want to work on cache management application, we have to do certain setups, but which are related to relevant respective process, but there is no very generic setup which need to be completed for cache management. Fine. And if you want to work on cache management application, we have to assign one role to the user so that user can have access to the cache management related functions to perform the similar activities. Even to create the manual bank statement or to do the manual or automatic reconciliation or external cache transactions or generation, whatever. Okay, whatever we are going to discuss. To access to cache management functions, we have to assign one role to the user. Okay. Instead of completing the relevant setups and assigning the role to the user, what we'll do is we'll go and assign the role now itself, so that system may take some time to get updated that role. Even in that case also we no need to wait. First we'll assign the role, then we'll start working on the setups which need to be completed based on the respective process, and then the role will get synchronized with the user, then we can start working on these processes. Okay, so if you go to navigator, here you don't see any function or task related to cache management. You don't see anywhere because we didn't assign any role to this user, which will give the privileges to cache management functionality to that user. Okay, so go to IDM and assign the role. When I talk about role, first point I'll say assign cache management role to user. The role name is, okay, say cache manager. This role we have to assign. This is just job role. This is not at all data role. Okay, even in EBS also through cache management. Okay, cache management is not specific to BU. I mean, in the case of EBS, not specific to OU. The same way here also, it's not specific to BU, which will be working. With you can work with the cache management to do the reconciliation across the bank accounts, where this is mapped as per multi-org structure or enterprise structure at LE level. Okay, so cache manager job role we have to assign to the user. Let's go and assign this job role to the user first. To assign it, go to IDM. To go to IDM, the role name is manage job roles. Click on search, then click on role name. It's a task name. Click on administration. Okay, our username is Fusion. Select username. Assign role called as cache manager. Click on assign. This is the role we have to assign. Say add. After assigning the role, always will run LDAP job. Submit LDAP. The tools, go to scheduled processes, task. Click on schedule new processes and type any test here, tab out. Here you can search for the role. Role name is LDAP. Click on search. So job name is retrieve latest LDAP changes. Select OK and say OK and submit it. Click on submit. Close it. Now we know it takes some time. Okay, now we don't need to wait for this. We'll proceed with the other setups. Okay, done. Now we'll take the case as manual bank statement creation. Okay. When you talk about manual bank statement creation, okay, to create the manual bank statement in the system, we need bank statement, right? We need bank statements. Once statement is ready, we can enter in the system. So once the statement is ready in the system, you can go ahead with the manual reconciliation or automatic reconciliation. But in case of Fusion, in EBS, if you want to create the manual bank statement in the system, we no need to do any additional setups. If system parameters are configured for cash management, straight away you can go on to set up, you can create the manual bank statement in EBS. But in Fusion, and one more point, you can create, and if you want to perform the automatic reconciliation, okay, automatic reconciliation, so in that case we have to create the bank transaction codes. If you want to do the manual reconciliation, we don't require bank transaction codes, and if you want to perform the automatic reconciliation, bank transaction codes are mandatory. But in Fusion case, you may do the manual or automatic, any reconciliation, the bank transaction codes are required. That too, if you want to enter the bank statement into system also, that is mandatory. Okay, so that is the reason, even if you want to do the manual reconciliation also, bank transaction codes are required. The without bank transaction codes, you cannot enter manual bank statement into system. Okay, so that's how we have. So let's go on to create bank transaction codes first. Okay, bank transaction codes. I'll say here create. Here the name would be I think bank transaction codes, bank statement transaction codes will be having here. Say create bank statement transaction codes. But in EBS generally you see as a bank transaction codes. Here bank transaction codes are nothing but bank statement transaction codes only, but here naming convention also they given as bank statement transaction codes. Okay, these codes are mandatory for manual reconciliation also, but in EBS not mandatory, only for auto reconciliation only, automatic reconciliation only, these transaction codes are mandatory. Okay, first we'll go and create the bank transaction codes. Go to implementation project. This setup you can do from outside of the system, I mean outside of the instant, outside of the project also. This is again just this new project which we created since this environment is got refreshed. here search for bank statement transaction codes. Just drag a little right. So here you can just select this task. Sorry. Then click on go to task icon. Okay, these are the bank transaction codes we have. Since this is a vision environment, Oracle just providing the few bank transaction codes. Other codes, think others for practice they created. Okay. So just for understanding, testing, just will go and create one code. Click on create. Okay. The code it depends as per bank statement how you have code. Accordingly, you can enter here. But just for testing, I'm giving this the code. Code, I'll say payment is a transaction type. It's check payment. That's all. Then says save and close. This is how you can create the code. This code you have to use when we are creating the bank statement in the system. Click on that. Okay, now we can go and create the bank statement. Okay, we'll see how to create the bank statement in the system through manual process. And when I talk about bank statement creation in the system, okay, we have to get access to that particular task. We'll just go and verify whether whatever the job we assign to this user that is synchronized or not. Okay, so seems to know. What I'll do is I'll just sign out and sign in, and we'll try that. Okay, fusion. Here you can just look into that. See here, these because of the cash manager role, what we assign to this user, that role is adding these two tasks. One is cash balances, other task is bank statement and reconciliations. Okay, just I'm selecting bank statements and reconciliations. Okay, now what we want to do is you want to create the manual bank statement in the system. And before we just go ahead with this task, this activity, another point is we know how the data flows into cash management. Once we make the payment from payables, the data will flow into cash management automatically. And when you talk about receivables, okay, after creating the receipt, it's a mandatory how to remit. Once you remit, that information will be available in the cash management. The receipts information will be available in cash management after remittance activity. In this system, I think we don't have any receipt related information since it's instance got refreshed, and again for this cash management testing we have a few payments created. We'll go ahead in that way. but process remains same. Just it can be you can reconcile payments or receipt, the process will remain same. So we'll go and create the bank statement. To create the bank statement, we need some statement related information. For that, just I'll take from here only. What I'll do is just go to task panel, and here I'll say I'm not going to perform manual reconciliation, but I need some data. That is the reason I'm going to select task called as manual reconciliation, so that from here I can see at least what are the transactions are available for reconciliation purpose. Okay, I just selected task as a manual reconciliation. Just to take some sample data, I came here, and here you can see search bank statement lines under system transactions. If you select your bank account, okay, here just our bank account is Fusion corporate account. If you select our bank account, if you click on search, here system select, we selected bank statement lines and system transaction. Now it will display two sets of data. One set is whatever the date transactions are available in the system with this bank account. In one side it will show here system transactions, other side the bank transaction lines what we entered, that it will display. As of now we didn't enter any bank statement against this bank account. Now system will display only system transactions. Click on search. Okay, these are the payments. Okay, for this testing purpose we created 4 payments in payables. In earlier, whatever we tested, we have many payments and many receipts also, but that got refreshed. So these just we created to test this scenario. Okay, 4 payments we have. We don't have any receipts. If you have receipts, you can perform remittance and receivables that will flow into cash management. We know that. So this is the, I mean, against this bank account, these are the transactions we have in the system. Other side here you have to maintain your bank account. Okay. So now what I'll do is, for testing purpose, the same information I want to enter as a bank transaction information. For that, what I'll do is I'll export all these system transactions into Excel. Okay. Fine. 1 second. Fine. So now you just 1 second. Okay. Fine. So now let's treat this is the bank statement which we received from banker. Okay. Fine. I'll name it as this is the bank statement. Since we cannot have that case, I'm taking this as the bank statement. Fusion bank statement. So this statement we received from, sorry, 1 second. Okay, so this is the bank statement we received from banker. Now we'll see how to create the bank statement in the system. Okay, now we'll go and create the bank statement. Create manual bank statement. Okay. Just to take this records only, just we navigate here. We are going to create the bank statement. Say create bank statement. Under bank statements, select create bank statement. Just give me 1 second. I have to plug the charger. I just forgot it. 1 second. Yep, done. Fine. So here we can create the bank statement. Here you can select you want to create the bank statement against which account. Our account name is Fusion corporate account. Select account and period start date and period end date for the bank statement. Okay, just I'm selecting from 1st to till today. Statement ID, nothing but bank statement number. I'll say this is the bank statement ID. So this is information we are providing. If you have the information, like, see, when we are working, we know, like, the bank statement will have open balance and the closing balances. That information you can enter here. Here we don't have any real statement, so I'm not entering anything. You can enter opening and the closing balances here. Now then go to statement lines. Go to statement lines. Here you can enter the lines. Just click on create. Okay, and here you can just go ahead with this. This is a bank statement. The transaction date is 23rd. So you can just, the booking date you can take same. And here reconciliation reference, nothing but the check number, like if there's a check payment and all, reference on what base. Normally, like in this reconciliation system will take criteria check number, right? So here, what is our check number for this? Okay, and here you have to select transaction code. Okay, transaction code. Just we created one code, right? This is the code we created. This is just, you can select here. Okay, and flow indicator. Okay, flow indicator. Here you can select flow indicator is, this is going to be payment, so the payment always will debit to us once we make the payment. And the amount for this 38,000, enter 38,000. Then say create another. So here reference number. Okay. Okay. Transaction code, whatever we created, I selected, and amount is 35,000. Okay, select flow indicator as a debit. This is a payment, so you should select as debit, and amount is $35,000. So create another line, same date. Reference, the check number is this. Let's provide reconciliation reference check number, and transaction code, and flow indicator debit, and the amount is 30,000. Okay, say create another. And provide reconciliation reference, transaction code, select flow indicator. This transaction amount is $1,000. Then say okay. Okay, we have 4 lines in the statement. Then says save and close. Okay. Yep, of course we didn't provide opening and closing balances because we don't have any real statement to keep that information. Okay, done. Now next step, we'll check. Okay, we created manual statement. Now we'll go and see the how to perform the manual reconciliation. Okay, we'll see how to do the manual reconciliation. So to perform the manual reconciliation, go to task called as under reconciliation, select manual reconciliation. And you want to perform the manual reconciliation. Here we have other options. If you want to see only bank statement lines, yes, you can select, or else only system. Both if you want to see, yes, this is the option we use when we are performing the manual reconciliation. Okay, select your bank account, Fusion corporate account, then click on search. Okay, now it will give the information. Okay, at a time here you can see this is as per system data. This is the information is coming from bank statement. Now the process is very simple. If I want, in case of EBS, what we do in case of manual reconciliation, we'll go to the bank transaction line and we'll select specific line. Then we'll click on availability. We'll click on availability. Then it will just ask for, it will go and search the relevant payments or receipts with the reference. I mean to say with the check number. If any transaction is available with the same check number, then system will display. Then we have to select and we have to say reconcile. But here the process is very simple. Both you can see in the same screen. Okay. So now if I want to reconcile, see here, as per system, I have payment. As per bank statement, I have one payment check number 10,001. And if same is available in the system, I'll select it, yes, available. Then click on reconcile. That's all. Okay, this is a manual reconciliation process. Done. That got reconciled. Okay, we'll keep these transactions to use for automatic reconciliation. Okay, so this is how we can perform the manual reconciliation. Done. And we'll do the automatic reconciliation. Okay, we'll do the automatic reconciliation. So to perform automatic reconciliation, we have to do certain setups. Okay, we'll discuss that. What setups we have to do to perform the automatic reconciliation. We'll do that. And before we go and do the required setups for automatic reconciliation, let's try to understand what is this external cash transaction and to generate cash transactions. So when you talk about external cash transaction, it's very simple. Take simple example. There are some bank charges. Okay, there are some bank charges. So the bank charges definitely you can see in your bank statement. But the bank, whatever the bank charges you have in your bank statement, that you can get into the system in two ways. One is manually you can enter the bank charges in your system. Otherwise, you can create the bank charges in system through automatic process. Okay, you will have a bank statement in the system. Whatever the bank charges we have in that bank statement, that if you want to generate in the system, we'll use this concept called as generate cash transactions. By using the generate cash transactions, you can create bank charges lines in the system based on bank statement information. And external transaction means nothing but the same. The bank charges and all comes under external transactions. Why I mentioned here separately is we'll see how to create the external transaction through manual process. Here, manual process we are going to test. Here, automatic.
Lakshman, I have a question.
Please.
Will automatic drafting be considered as an external transaction? In cases where you have given automatic instructions to your vendor, they draft you on a specific day,
No.
but you will not get it in your reconciliation, but you will see that in the bank statement.
Simple.
Yeah.
Whatever you don't have in your system, there is
the
transaction, the record which is related to the payment, can be what you paid or what you received, whatever it may be. Any cash related transaction which you don't have in system but which you have in your business process, which is reflecting in the bank account, that you can manage in the cash management by using the external cash transaction. It can be anything.
Okay.
Charges,
so it will create a payment also in that case then?
Yeah, for that also we have process, but that normally it's not an external transaction. Okay, that normally will be processing in the system, but we have a separate concept called as ad hoc payments. By using that, you can do that directly. You can create the payment ad hoc payment in the cash management application, and that will trigger and it will create the payment record in your payables. That's a separate process that we call as ad hoc payments. But when you talk about external transaction, this is all about which are reflecting normally, which are reflecting in your bank account and which are not reflecting in your system. Normally, see, you made the payment that will reflect in your system, and then finally it will reflect in your bank statement. That is fine.
No, no. In
But
the case of drafting, it is reflected because the vendor drafts your account. So the bank gets it first, but you have not marked that record as paid in your AP because it's automatically drafted. So in that case, how do I make my AP as paid, my invoice as paid?
so for that purpose, you can use this kind of concept called as ad hoc payments. You can use, or else you may create as external transaction. Okay.
Okay.
The two options we have.
Okay, if I create as external transaction, it will create a payment, is it? Or it will just
Yes, as you paid, you can present in that when you are creating that external transaction code, that you can write as the draft or what purpose, how you are doing that, the naming convention you can give. That final system will create the record in the system. But since you are doing from the payables, normally that is always good to process from payables only, right?
Yeah, ad hoc payments. Okay, I'll take a look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you continue and I can ask the questions later. Thank you so much, Lakshmi.
Sure, thank you. So these are the simple points to understand. Okay, the best example I can take as a just bank charges. So the bank charges will reflect in the bank statement, but not in our system. So that you can, the bank charges what we have in the bank statement, based on bank statement, you can create the bank charges in the system automatically. For that we use generate cash transaction concept, and by referring the bank statement, if you want to enter the bank charges in the cash management through manual process, you can go with the external cash transaction function to create them in the system through manual process. Okay, we'll see, we'll test both. Okay, no issues. And finally we'll see the reconciliation. Fine, done. Now what we'll do is, so we'll take the case. Now what we'll do is we'll see how to create the now we'll focus on how to generate the automatic what I can say external transaction in the system. To perform that, what setups required, we'll see that. We'll do the setups which are required to generate the cash transaction, that is a one, and we'll do the setups which are required for automatic reconciliation. We'll complete these two and we'll go and test automatic reconciliation as well as how to generate cash transactions based on the bank statement. And finally, we'll see how to create the external cash transaction through manual process. Okay. So the setups which are required for to create external transactions automatically in the system is, so first you have to create the something like the bank some rules we have to create. Okay, the bank transaction rules we have to create. So just take the task as the setups for this. Okay, create bank statement. Something we have, I don't remember. Transaction creation rules, I guess. Transaction creation rules. I don't remember exactly. I think this is the task we have to perform. Now after that we have to create the cash transaction type mappings. Create cash transaction type mapping. Okay, after doing that, okay, after doing these two tasks, this we have to map with our bank account. Okay. Okay, this we call as external transactions, right? So this external transaction related definition we have to map with bank statement, map with bank account. So bank account. Done. These are the setups we have to do for automatic reconciliation. Sorry, external cash transaction to generate automatically. And when you talk about here automatic reconciliation, okay. So here for this we have to create, say, create bank statement reconciliation matching rules. Okay, we have to create the bank statement matching rules. Okay, and these rules, what are the rules you created, all you have to group. For that you have to create the set. For that you can have a task called as a create bank statement reconciliation rule sets. Okay, we'll create the rule sets. Finally, see here also for external transaction generation, automatically we want to generate. For that reason, once you do these setups, this we are assigning to the bank account. In the same way, this rule set also we have to assign to what I can say, the bank account only. Say assign automatic reconciliation rule set to your bank account. That's it. So here, what are the rules set? Here, just I'm calling as automatic reconciliation rule set, means this is same like whatever I have, just that I'll be assigning to the same bank statement. The reconciliation rule set is only for automatic reconciliation. That's the reason I'm calling it as automatic reconciliation rule set, that we have to assign to bank account. Okay. Then once we're done with these setups will support, okay, to create the external transaction automatically based on the bank statement, and this will support to do the automatic reconciliation whatever the bank statement you have with the system data. And when you are testing this, we'll pass one external transaction. We'll create one external transaction in bank statement. Based on the bank statement external transaction, system will create one system record automatically. Okay, this is a quite normal process. Already we have bank statement system data that can be reconciled automatically. This is what we are going to test. Okay, first we'll complete all these setups which will support for external transactions automatic creation and automatic bank statement reconciliation. Okay, first what we'll do is we'll go and create the bank statement transaction creation rules. Okay, fine, go to implementation project. Click on implementation project. This it's not mandatory how to create from your project only. You can create from outside of the project also, because these are not specific to be used or primary ledgers. So search for bank statement transaction creation rules. This is a task name. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, still here we have something. Fine. So manage bank statement transaction creation rules. Just click on go to task. Okay. So we know what purpose we are creating this for: external transaction automatic generation purpose. So we'll go and create. Just click on create. I'll give the name as Fusion bank charges. Just the prefix, everywhere we are just taking the Fusion, so the same I'm taking. You select your legal entity. Legal entity name is Fusion USA legal entity. Okay, select it. And here type you can select as some fee or charges, anything you can select. And the code, the fee related code we have, that you can select. This you can create from the bank transaction codes also, but we created one for testing to for manual reconciliation. Okay, in the same way you may create the code, the same code you can select here. Okay, I'm just selecting 6661. You can go and create there. When you are creating, you can select type as a fee over there, but when we created, we selected as a check. So I'm selecting this now here. Yeah,
Lakshman, can you just click on the type one more time just to see what are the things available there, please?
you can do that. You can, when you are practicing, you can do that. There is nothing else, just types you want to see, you can see if you don't mind.
Okay.
Otherwise I don't have an issue to show, but see, we have possibility, right? If you have in doubt and all, we can go back and we can see. Just if you want to see the types at the time of practice or the session, you can try on that. Since we completed, if you want to see, I'll take you through that. I don't have an issue, but just may not be required. That's the reason I'm talking about it.
What I was asking is the list of values, man.
Yeah, that's
the
what.
Types.
That's what the list of types only I'm talking about. Just let me take it.
You can show it in the list of values. That's more than enough for me. Just 2 seconds.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yes, I'm going to show you.
But why are you going to a different screen?
Where you want me to show?
In the type, I just want the list of values in the type. That's it.
Yes.
That's it. I want to.
Oh, this
take
type you want to show. Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Transaction type.
I just want to see what are the things available.
Yeah. When we created, we selected check. We selected check and we created, right?
Okay.
So if you select that check, then we'll be getting our values, right?
Okay. No, I just want to see if there is payment available. There is no payment available. That's fine.
Yeah, fine. That you have to write it. That check means when you say check, that can be what you paid or what you received. That's how it works. It won't be like payment or receipt. That's it.
Okay.
Fine. Fine. I'm sorry. I thought in that way. That's the reason I was trying.
No. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. So select fee, and for the fee type only there are two bank transaction codes available. I'm selecting one here. And if you want to, basically it's a legal entity base, it works. If you have multiple business units, you may select this kind of external transactions you want to perform for which BU related transactions. That BU you can select. Okay. Otherwise, if you don't want to do for specific BU and all, it's not to specific BU and all, you can go ahead and you can do in that way also. Anyway, that each bank account what you are performing, that will relate it to some BU for one or multiple. So here I want to specify this. I want to do only for Fusion US business unit and provide here cash account for that. Account and select cash account. For every bank will use separate cash account, but here for testing we have only one. And offset account means which account should get debited here in case of bank charges. Okay, I think we have in this corporate account value set bank charges account also. Let me check. Say okay. Done. So what purpose we are creating this? To create the external transactions automatically in the system. we created. Okay, sorry, not this. So we created one a rule, not this one, what created here. Okay, this matching, automatic, this is the rule we created. Okay, now we have to create the mapping. Okay, we have to create the mapping, the transaction type which we created, that has to be mapped. So take the same task name. I think it will be same as this, or there could be some changes. I don't remember exactly task name. Let's go and see that. That would be cash transaction type mapping only. Okay, but everything I prefer to do from our project only, so that's the reason I'm just navigating. Same type mapping or mapping, yeah, same. So this is the task we have to use. Okay, so manage cash transaction type mapping. Click on go to task icon. So you hear there are some just existed predefined and all. There will be one or two which are seeded in the fresh environment also, but rest somebody created. Select type as disbursement, which is a payment. The transaction type, this is what we are doing the mapping. Okay, the transaction type which we created, okay, the fee related, that we are mapping with the this type. And here you can select method also, how you are going to, and what method, what is the payment method. Here you can select any one of the method, whatever you want to select. Here I just want to go with electronic, so we made the payment through electronic process. Check anything you can select, there won't be an issue with that. Sorry. Then say save and close. This is what we are mapping, the transaction type, okay, that we are mapping with this. Say save and close. The mapping for this method already existed. Okay, I'll do one thing. The existed one I will modify, since that is mapping with the disbursement already is there, you don't need to create, so I'll go and change it, or else we'll just refer.
You can change the electronic to something else, right? The method.
Sorry, I think others are all
If you can.
other types also existed. Here you can see check and all.
Okay.
Yeah, this is there already, we have here, just same, just you can, anyway, we just gone through how to create it. There's no other point in that, just only the, this is the what already existed, we cannot do. So disbursement, same what we tried, the same here we have. The transaction code here, transaction type they selected as, so electronic fund transfer. Yeah, of course here I am selecting transaction type as fee, and method I'll go with a electronic. What system is considering here, this is cross checking, this combination is checking the type and method. Seems to somebody is unmuted, please. Okay, yeah, okay, you are talking, fine, sorry. Then say save and close. Okay, think now we created our own, then just click on done. Okay, this is how we can do the mapping. Where we have this, yeah. Now we have to just assign the same to our what I can say, our bank account. We'll do that. Even this set also we have to assign to the bank account. So we'll complete this auto reconciliation related setups, then finally we'll go and assign this to that. Okay, so we'll complete these two setups, and this anyway rule set also we have to assign to the bank account. At the same time, this external cash transaction related what setups we did, that setup also will assign over and the bank account level. It's mandatory, otherwise it won't work. Fine. Now we'll go and create the matching rules for automatic reconciliation. Just I'm taking the same name and search with that. Say bank statement reconciliation matching rules. So go to this task and say create. So here you can create how you just want and all. So there are some already just you can see here already just predefined. This is for payment reference matching. On what base it's a matching means on what base system has to reconcile. What base system has to reconcile. Here already there are some predefined. Okay, just so you can see that. If you want to go through it, it's so simple. See here, just anyway we'll create our own, but just as information I'm showing. Okay, here they selected this reference for payables, and here they given matching criteria as amount and reconciliation reference, or else you can take some other parameter also as a criteria. This one they have for payables, and other one they have for receivables. So receivables they taken the amount and date as a criteria. Okay, that's how we can have, and we'll create one more matching rule. Okay, for external transactions. Anyway, these two we can use if you want to use. These are not specific to some legal entity or business unit, anything. These are very generic, which can be used for any. Okay, it's very simple. Like if you want to create, you can create like this. For payables you want to create, for payments, okay, you can select payables, and here this point also very important, matching type. So how you want to do the matching? So one bank transaction you want to match with a one bank transaction, you want to a bank transaction line you want to match with a multiple payment records, or multiple bank transaction lines you can map with the one system record. That criteria you can set here: one to one, one to many, many to one, many to many. So this you can set it up as per requirement, and here you can give the by default the criteria system is taking as amount. The rest your just option will be available, which you can select. This is how just you have to enable and you have to create. Okay, so this is how just you have to provide. If you want to create, you can create like this. That already same is existed, I'm not creating because it's specific to our BU or LE means we can create, but it's not it's a common, uh, anyone can use it, so that's the reason just I'm ignoring it. But this is how you can create. The same way receivables also you can create. Just only the point is you have to select receivable and you can set what would be the matching criteria. But now we don't have any receipts information, so not required. But as a mandatory now what we have to create is, since we are planning to create external transactions, okay, external transactions, we have to create one matching rules for external transactions. See here. So in this case what I'll do is I'll add this setup. This matching rule you have to use here also, because this is for bank statement reconciliation as well as external transaction purpose also will be used. Okay, now we'll create anyway for payables and receivables we have, and we'll create for external transaction. Fusion bank charges purpose I'm creating, and select source as external. In case of external, what is the criteria you will go ahead, I'll select as a reconciliation reference. Okay, that means the point is, if there are any external transactions in bank statement, okay, external transactions in bank statement, and if you are going to, anyway, because we are going to do the manual reconciliation also for external transactions, okay, there whatever manually you enter the external transaction and what is the external transaction you have in your bank statement, these two if you want to reconcile through manual process, okay, this reference system will take as a criteria, it will allow us to do that. Okay, so when we are going to generate, anyway it will generate based on this setups what we did. This is the point, just let me highlight that. Okay, based on this it will create. Here it's automatic, and that just I'll mention this generally we can use for manual purpose. In the manual case it will be useful matching. Okay, so here I'll put as a manual. Let me I should not include in this as a setup. I'll keep a separate. This what we are creating this setup. This setup, it will help us for manual reconciliation for external transactions. Primarily that is a purpose this will be useful. Okay, done. We create matching rule for this and I'll say save and close. Done. Fine. Now the next step is the rule set we have to create. Okay, create bank statement reconciliation rule set. Okay, where we have that? Here we have manage bank statement reconciliation rule sets. Go to this task. We'll go and create our own rule. There are a few rules already existed. Just click on create. Just we have to group them. So I'll say fusion rule set. Then just click on add. Sequence is 1. Okay. So here I am selecting payables reference match. No tolerances for this. I'll create one more. So receivables, if you are just when you are doing that, as of course this is also required. Receivables you can select. And just now whatever we created, this one third one we created, fusion bank charges. Okay. This also just you can group into that and say save and close. We create our own rule set. This rule set, okay, we have to assign to bank account. Okay, just go and assign to bank account. So just go to our bank account. So you can take any task. Click on go to task icon. Our bank account name is Fusion corporate account. Select account, click on edit and go to controls. Okay, here select automatic reconciliation rule set. Okay, the fusion rule set. Okay, see the point. Well, let me tell you why. Just see, there are two options here. There are two options. See here, we created bank statement reconciliation matching rules. What we discussed, it is useful for manual reconciliation, and if you are submitting automatic reconciliation, okay, for external transactions. In that case, that is used for automatic reconciliations also. In 2 points, 2 purposes that can be useful. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is create bank statement reconciliation matching rule we created. When you are creating, just I explained, that can be used for manual reconciliation for external transaction. For external transactions also, if you want to, by submitting automatic reconciliation program, if you want to reconcile, In that way also the rule will be useful. In two ways it will be useful. When you have a bank transaction that you can reconcile through manual process as well as automatic process, in the same way external transaction, if you have in your bank statement which you enter through manual process or which you created automatically based on bank statement, that can be reconciled through manual process or automatic process. Now whatever we created, okay, that rule basically will be useful for automatic reconciliation. I'm sorry I said for manual reconciliation. For manual reconciliation the rule is not required, only for automatic reconciliation that will be useful. Okay, that's the reason just that we grouped and we are assigning to the bank account also. So within this rule we have within this set we have three rules: one for payment, one for receipts means receivables, third one for external transaction which we created. And if you want to create external transaction automatically, if you want to create the external transaction automatically based on the bank statement, okay, that you have to provide here. Click on just add here, that rule you can provide. Fusion bank charges, okay, here, okay, that rules and all rule we created as a part of this setup, right? This rule we created and we did the mapping. Okay, the mapped rule we are assigning here. If you assign here this rule, then only you will be able to create external cash transactions automatically. Okay, that is nothing but here, as I mentioned here, generate cash transactions, nothing but you can create the cash transactions, means external transaction automatically in the system based on bank statement. For that reason you have to map here, that's all. So this is a mapping we have to do. This is for reconciliation purpose, this is to create external transaction automatically. Say save and close. Okay, I think we're done with all required setups. Let me close it. And now what we can do is, let's go to this Excel. Okay, so we're done with all the required setups and all. And now what we can do is, fine, we'll proceed with the automatic reconciliation, or else we'll try to create, what we can do is anything we can do, anything we can go with automatic reconciliation, or we can create one external transaction, or else first we'll see how to create the external transaction in the system. We'll see that. First we'll see how to create the external transaction through manual process. Okay, and then we'll see how to create the external transaction automatically in the system based on the bank statement. And finally we'll see how to perform the automatic reconciliation. We'll see in this way. We can go within that activities, that sequence. First we'll see how to create the manual external transaction in our system, not in the bank statement. So here you can go to this, where is our cash management? It's not displaying, I'll just minimize this. Here we have. Let me write those points what we are going to do, so that we may be more clear. So now what I'm going to do is create external cash transaction in system. This is the first point we are going to do. See how to create the external cash transaction in the system. Then we will create external cash transaction in bank statement also. And one external transaction you have system which you created through manual process, one you have in the bank statement. Since these two, once these two are available, you can do the manual reconciliation, or else this you can use for automatic reconciliation. Any purpose you can use. Okay, Done. Later what we'll do, next step what we'll do is we'll create external transaction. Simple point. Let me take in this sequence, it will be more easy for us. Take example. You have an external transaction as per our bank statement that you can bring into the system in two ways. One is manually you can create, second option is you can create automatically. First we'll see how to create external transaction in the system through manual process, how to do the manual or automatic reconciliation. The second point is, okay, we'll create external transaction in the bank statement, and the same I don't want to enter in the system through manual process, that I want to create in the system automatically. So I will generate external cash transaction in system based on bank statement. This is what we'll be testing. Okay, once we're done with this, we'll go with the automatic reconciliation.
Lakshman, one quick question.
Please.
When you say create external cash transaction in bank statement, does it mean that you are doing it in the bank statement or in the system?
I'll enter in the bank statement. Because anyway we have to get the bank statement into system, right? Think that is you have as a part of bank statement.
Okay, got it.
Right, that's it. Yep. So we'll do the automatic recursion. This is what we are going to do. Okay. First we'll create the external transaction, the bank statement. That means when we get the statement from the banker, that is there in the system, in the statement that we are taking into our system as a part of same. Okay, let's go and create it. Already we created a bank statement, right? So go to manage bank statements. Yep. Just find your bank statement. Yep. Here you can see the same because we have only one, so it is showing. Fine. Now I don't need to search. Expand this. This is our statement. You can click on the statement, or you can click on edit anything. So now go to statement lines. So when we look at this statement, this is a statement from bank. In the same statement we have, say, one more line. That should accept. Oh, it is not. It will give option to create add. Why it is not given here? Yeah, sorry. Edit. Okay. So say create. So I'll go with the today date only. Today date. What date we have for other transactions? Let me take the same better. 23rd. We received statement on the same date, so we'll go in that same way. Sorry. Just click on create. And as per bank statement, there is some reference number against the external transaction. Sorry, that is 111111. Okay. That I'll have as a, will take as a fee, and flow indicator is, since it's a payment, I'm selecting as a debit. I'll say just $500. Then say okay. Done. Now we have one external transaction as a part of bank statement, then say save and close. Now this we can bring into our system in two ways. One is by creating through manual process, other one is automatic. First we'll see how to create through manual process system. Later we'll see how to create the same line from bank account statement into system. Okay, now we'll see how to create the manual external transaction in the system. Later we'll see how to create automatically. So here we have section called as external cash transactions. Okay, say create transaction. So for which bank statement, Fusion corporate account, for which business unit, Fusion US business unit, how much amount? $500 and reference. Okay, so we have to take as is which is there in the bank statement. Their reference number is 111111. This is what we taken. So transaction type is fee, and here system is defaulting the cash account from the bank account, and select offset account which should get debited. This is just bank charges, so select the same account. Okay, save and close. Done. Now let's go to bank statement reconciliation. Let's go to manual reconciliation so that the fee, like you can see the same, you can see from one is system record and other one bank statement record. This, if you want to do the manual reconciliation, yes, you can select these two and you can do a reconciliation. Okay, you can just perform the reconciliation. You can do the manual, you can select these two and you can say reconcile. Otherwise, if you don't do reconcile now, when you are doing the automatic reconciliation, system will reconcile it. Okay, anything you can do. Okay, you can just select these two and you may do the manual reconciliation. The difference exceeded the manual amount before reconciling is not allowed. What is that? Manual amount. Oh.
One is positive and one is negative. That's fine.
No. Okay. Yeah. I think I created by mistake wrong that. Yeah, I just created wrong that one. So I just forgot to give in that way. Fine, no issues. This is how just you can keep accordingly and you can do that. Now what we'll do is we'll create one bank statement line. Okay, we'll create one external transaction, the bank statement, that will auto generate, then that system will be taking into this system transactions. We'll see how to create automatically external transaction in the system based on bank statement line. Okay, we'll go into it. I'm just going to create in the bank statement. I'm going to add one more line, external transaction in bank statement. Go to manage bank statement. Just open this. Sorry, this is a different one. It's not our account, I guess. It is Fusion corporate only. Why it is not defaulting? Let me search. Very simple. It's defaulting some different account over there. Click on edit. Then go to statements and create one additional. So, so reference number, any number you can give as per a bank statement. Transaction code. Okay, we created a rule for the first one 661. For this we only created rule, and the flow indicator debit, and here I'll say $200. That's all. Then say okay. Okay, we created. Now here you can see the $200. Now we have this external transaction, okay, in the bank statement. Based on that, I want to generate the system transaction the system. For that, what we'll do is go to this task panel, and here we have a task called as generate cash transactions. So already we created rules and all, then system will create the rules. We given the criteria as the rule we created for external, and reconciliation, the matching criteria we given, okay, that's a different matching, we created one rule for external transaction. So that's what system will be using now. You can select your bank account, statement ID we given this. Now what system will do is, within this bank statement, if there are any bank statement lines which are related to this external transactions, based on the rules which we created, if those are matching, it will create the system transaction. So bank statement start date and end date, I'm taking from 1st to 26th. Then submit. You can go scroll a little down. Here itself you can see the process monitor. Sorry. Click on view log. It will show whether created or not information. But anyway, you can directly go and see that. Let's look into this. Number of external transactions created 2. Okay. Okay, number of external transactions created 2. It is showing. I think this created 2 reason. But those 2 we selected the matching. Okay.
Is the one which was
first one.
successful in reconciliation that also
Yeah. For that also it created, because we use the same type which we mapped with the automatic cash transaction generation rule. Okay. So we'll go and see that. So just go to manage bank statements. From manage bank statements we can see that, right? Just go to manage bank statements, and here we have just select it. No, I'm sorry. Let's go to reconciliation. There is, you can see from here, from there also you can, this is not from here, reconciliation, right? Sorry. Okay, go to just manage reconciliation, so that there you can see the system lines, or at the same time, like you can see the bank statement lines as the system lines. Select your bank statement, bank account number. So here you can see those 2. Then you see that system transactions, it created external. This is the one external it created. The 500 it created. This is the other one. Okay, it's not displaying all these here. I'll show you here just. Let me go with this bank statement system transactions only. It's not responding. Just let me verify this. So here go to manual reconciliation task. There you can see. I'll select system transactions and say search. Fine. Sorry, that won't be here. That I'm trying to check here. I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah. No. Here, manage transactions. Go to manage transactions. Not two tabs. That is reconcile means which are reconciled that it will display. Not for that. Okay, I'm sorry. I was checking here. Just you can find from here. Okay, we have manage external transactions over there, and then from navigator, click on this. So these are the two. It's got reconciled also. That's the reason it was not displayed. It's created and reconciled. This is the one which we created just now. This is the previous one. Okay, and with the same it created one more also because the rule is applicable. No, this is the one which we created manually. We created with external transaction. Again, the similar one it created as automatically also because the rules are matching. Since the similar lines are available in the bank statement, okay, it got reconciled also. This reconciled status. Okay, if something is reconciled, that you can see from here. Just open this. Go to bank statement lines. Sorry, every time I'm taking this wrong navigation. Sorry for this. Go to this manual reconciliation. Okay, here you can see which are reconciled from this statement. Which are reconciled, you can see from here. And select this bank account, and here you can see. Here it will create as a groups: group 1, group 2, group 3. The meaning is which bank statement line is reconciled with which payment record or receipts receivables record. These two are external. It got generated, and this is because 1 to 1. That is the reason one bank statement line with one system record. If you go with one to many, and accordingly within the group you can find which system record is mapped reconciled with which bank statement lines. That's how you can find here. Okay, this is how, like when you click on generate, it is generating as well as automatically is reconciling. Now the point is we have to test this. Yeah.
And the accounting goes from here, right? When you create the accounting, it does that through the mapping, whatever we did, it creates the accounting also in the background.
Yeah, accounting we given over there, right? We given that offset account and all. We have to run the create accounting.
Yeah.
We have to run the create accounting for this. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. We know, like in EPS case, only for bank account transfers, the accounting can be generated from cash management. For rest of other source, payables, receivables, related source transactions, always accounting will perform from there. But in Fusion point of view, for these kind of external transactions, okay, as well as bank transfers, we can perform the accounting here. Okay, done. So we're done with this, and create external transaction also we created, that also we completed. Now only the parties we have to perform the automatic reconciliation. So let's go and run the automatic reconciliation. Here we have say submit automatic reconciliation. Okay. So if you have multiple statements, you may select specific statement here. Don't forget to select these dates, proper dates, then submit. Now it will reconcile all the transaction because the criteria, the rule rule definition level, we given the matching criteria as a amount as well as amount by default system will take, and we given the reference number, check numbers here. You can go here, you can monitor that request completed. Now you can go and find your bank statement. You can see everything is reconciled. Manage bank statements. You can see all are reconciled. Okay, that's it. So this is all about what we planned, and I think we have to just submit, like we have a just like, okay, we'll submit the create accounting also. Cash management. Our ledger is Fusion USA primary ledger, and date okay. Yeah, that is okay, or else you may take end date, month and date. But of course, still which date of the transactions need to be accounted. There is a meaning, we know that. So here transfer to general ledger, post to general ledger. Yes, all proper parameters are defaulted. Just you can say submit. Okay, this is a one point. Another point is, like we have to perform the accounting for payables also, right? So let me submit that also here. Let it complete.
Lakshman, if you think of a scenario, you have you do an automatic reconciliation, and 15 or 20 bank charges stand out as unreconciled items. We can cut that from the screen of the unreconciled transactions, put them in a spreadsheet, load it as external transactions, and once it is loaded, it will automatically reconcile, right?
Yes, if you are normally if you are entering if you have a external transaction in the bank statement, you will be taking into the system. You may load automatically or manual process. If you want to go with this automatic reconciliation activity, you have to make sure that those transactions are there in the system side also, which you will be entering through manual process. If you think there are many transactions, I don't want to go with the manual process, you can just, when you are creating, make sure that you are selecting rule which will support for automatic reconciliation. In our case, the same happened. So the first external transaction which I am creating, I should not select a rule which we created for automatic, right? But I selected. That is the reason even I created manual, it created once again. Okay. So you can create different rule. You can select different rule if you want to do manual reconciliation. If you want to go with automatic, select rule which will support for generate cash transaction. Then you can submit. Before you do your bank statement reconciliation, this external transaction will get generated and get reconciled before you do the bank statement reconciliation, if you are following the step-by-step process. That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Yeah. So it's done. The other side, we know, like if you want to do the, yeah, please.
No, the scenario which I have is we have vendors who submit
No,
drafting process.
I don't know who is speaking. 1 second. May I know who's speaking?
Ganesh.
Ganesh. Yeah, Ganesh. This is all. I'm ready to answer all these your questions. But if you don't mind, can we take it in after end of the session? Anyway, this is clear, right? If this is clear, I hope nothing will stop you to understand. If you have some specific queries and all, definitely we can discuss. But those will keep it.
Very, very clear.
Yeah,
Okay.
fine, Ganesh. Thank you. Okay, fine. Now, so we know like we did the reconciliation for payments also. It's a mandatory. We have to perform the accounting from payable side. So select payables and submit. So just we'll test. Just we'll run the GL and CM and GL reconciliation. Just to run that, the accounting is mandatory to reflect the balances. Fine, all the parameters are fine. Then say submit. Fine, no issues. Let it run. Let it be fine. So other point is so cash to means cash management to general ledger reconciliation report. We know like in payables and receivables also we just worked on this report. When you run this, it will display what is the for the cash account. What is the variance? What is the variance between the GL and the cash management? We have to make sure that if any issues, it will display accordingly. We can fix it. Means the cash balances are syncing between the payables and cash management bank account with respect to bank account and the GL side. Which period we are running? Say John.
And for this, we'll have to make sure that the financial category is set up properly.
Yeah, category and all. But we are using which one? Corporation, right? Corporate account. I think that is there already. Okay. You have to set those parameters. Same like in payables and receivables, what we did the same. Like category, you can select and category you can select as a cash. You can select or cash management. You can select and you can set a console flag to yes. Then you can submit. Then it will produce the report by fetching that information. This is just so straight away. It's a cash account which will be part of bank account, right? That is the reason. That's how it will easily identify it. You no need to go and run some fetch process, etc. All those not required. Directly it will do. So just go to view output. From here it won't come proper output. I'll go to the schedule process and I'll see it from there. scroll it down here and click on this document default. Sometimes it takes time to just get display the report output and all. Just let me download it directly.
You have to click on repo.
Seems to there is some issue with this output and all. It is not working properly. You know, like how just basically once you select it, it has to. What somebody is saying? Some what? This one. So basically, once you click on this, it has to open. No. Okay, but anyway, just we know that, right? In payables, receivables, we did the same way it works. There's nothing to learn as a different new. Only it will make sure that the balance are matching or not. If not matching, from which side there is variance, it will display, will work on it, will fix it. Even payables, receivables, the same control account, so I will work same process. Okay. So that's all about cash management and all, and this is what I mentioned the course content. That's the reason the same I'm covering. If somebody want to explore on this cash management, you may try with this bank account transfers and all. We have all those. Just I'll show you where you can see that. Here under cash management, cash balances. Okay. So simple. Here you can expand this. You can see those two options here only. Expand this. Here this is the bank statement option. Here what we did as of now, all whatever we did all from here, you can select other option as a cash balances. Here you will be able to see all these cash balances from the specific bank accounts, and you can go to this task panel. Here we have a different options. We have some other options, concepts called as ad hoc payments. Ad hoc payments is nothing but if you want to create ad hoc payments and all, you have to create the payee to whom you want to pay and all. Okay, there may not be your supplier and all, just some payee name you can create from cash management, and you can create the ad hoc payment. Then automatically system will create the payment record in the payables. That's the functionality we have here. And here we have cash positioning. You can do the cash positioning, cash forecasting you can do, and you can do the bank account transfer. These functionalities also we have, but we didn't take as a part of our course content because already our course content is a bit advanced, and we're spending a lot of time. With that reasons I could not include all those. Okay, done. That's all about cash management. And still, what is the time now?
One question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, like in Artable, like even earlier versions, we have interfaces to load bank statements.
Yeah, here also you can do that. That process existed here. Okay, that you can
because no one will do manual entry.
Correct. Yeah, that is there. That should be there. Otherwise, there is no use of cash management for clients, right? That is there. Okay, that we have in the Fusion, not only from this latest version, from previous versions also, even 9, 10 also that is available.
Can you show the navigation? I'll just go through, but can you show the navigation where?
So from here, not like just you have to locate that files in the respective directories. Some technical people should come into that picture, right? You can go and submit that program. You have same program. You can go to that schedule process. What program will run to load that bank statement loader program will be running. The same here you can submit. There you can give the parameters. Okay, the file name and what is the format file, BI2 or Swift. Okay, and you can give the path, everything you can specify. That's how you can run. Same process. Here I cannot go and show here. There is no other navigation to show that. And we have
But
relevant setups. Relevant setups
with
which
the
you can do.
fusion,
Please.
how that is done with the fusion, how that is done, because if it is like a EBS, like we have our own server and we receive the file and we FTP
Yeah.
and the
See,
directory to save the file. And
these and all you can manage with SOA. Some technical work need to be done. For this, you no need to. You are not going to integrate the bank system with your cloud, right? So, in on-premise or cloud, on-premise or just a cloud here, just you can go with it. You will get a file, and the file will be loading. Okay, the VA2 will be getting, and you will be working on that mapping with the help of technical team. That will be loading in the system in the particular path will be played. That should be done by technical team only. The functional, that relevant supporting setups you can do from the functional setup manager, which are related to, which will support that process. Okay, just you can
thanks,
you
Lakshman.
can yeah, you may just try with help, you can get more information. Okay, if you don't just
Okay.
since I didn't include in the scope, that is the reason I cannot take it. And if you are really, if you have to work on that, let me know. Just I'll try to provide some
Because
document for you.
it is a cash management implementation,
Yeah,
like the setups are one-time thing. The
correct.
regular thing will be like receiving the files and managing the loading them into and reconciling them.
Fine, 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 fine. Yeah, I'll try to.
Lakshman,
I'll try to just keep some discussion on that. Maybe in the end of the course. Okay, please allow me, because now just we are running out of this time, and too many delays from my side. Frankly speaking, I'm really sorry, and on the other side, I'm really happy you all people accepted and supported that. So that is the reason I don't want to bring all those points, even of course we find as an important thing. But just remind me in the end of the, I mean maybe in the last class. Definitely, I'll will talk on that. Please. Yeah. Good luck.
hi Lakshman, Tarun here.
Yeah, Tarun, please.
I have one this question regards to suppose like if for format of MT940, okay,
Okay.
and like for the integration with
Yeah,
for
that's what
cache
I'm
management.
saying the same. Just
So the
please
approach is done
one
by
second.
the SOA technical consultant.
Yeah, we have to route through that SOA. Even if you want to go with that process of EFT payment process, that for that also we have to contact SOA people on. Anyway, I'll just light on that. I'll light on that. I'll take you. But since that is not there in our course content, now I am not taking. But in the maybe last session I'll take it. I'll just make a note. Okay, definitely. I'll
This is
just take it.
basically because we should be aware of what actually the role and whom we have to get the work done from.
Sure, sure.
So usually we discuss in the meetings also. It's very important for us to know like
I'll take you.
role has to be played by.
Got it, Tarun. Got it, Tarun. I'll because I did not mention in the course content. Only that is the reason I
I
cannot
understand.
take it. But I'll consider your point. Definitely, I'll give you information on that. Maybe in the last session, but not now. Okay, we'll
Sure,
do
sure.
that.
But if we forget also, you should please remind us.
I made a note. That is the reason. I'll be keeping in pending concepts.
Thank you.
Yeah, in just every batch, if somebody is asking in between which is not there in the scope, definitely I'll make a note, and I'll be just taking through whenever we go to that relevant module or something else. Okay, so that's how we did. Even something Armstrong asked about what is that, check formats and all. Reality, just actually I don't have in my course curriculum which I included. Since that's very important, yes, I just taken through that. We gone through that, right? How to create and how to do that. The same way, yes, this is also important one. Okay, okay, but I didn't mention in that course content, so definitely I'll take you through that. No need to worry, but may
Thank
not
you.
be
I
now, after
appreciate
some
that.
time. Yep, thank you, thank you. And it's almost 9. But anyway, just it's a simple concept which is there, which is pending from payable side. Invoice imaging. It won't take much time, hardly 5 to 10 minutes. Invoice imaging solution. Let me write it in the Excel. Okay. Invoice imaging solution. Okay, invoice imaging solution. When you talk about invoice imaging solution, In case of EBS, if any client is want to opt this kind of solution and all, what we do, it's always third party, right? We'll go with third party, we'll do the integration. That's how the imaging systems they'll be using. Then finally we'll I mean, based on that mapping and all, we'll extract the data and we'll get into that information into our payable system. But when you in Fusion case, this invoice imaging solution is there as a part of standard product, has a standard functionality. So, but only the point is we have to take the separate license for this. If any client wants to use invoice imaging solution from Oracle, we have to go with the separate license. Through separate license only we can do that. And if you are going to implement this solution, being a functional consultant, what we have to do? First, you have to raise SR to Oracle, the cloud team. You will just raise a SR by requesting emails, mail IDs. Okay, just raise SR to Oracle saying that, just of course when you're rising, you will be tagging your customer name, that what is the license subscription they have through SR process, we know that. So we'll raise SR saying that yes, as like we have taken the license for invoice imaging solution and provide some and please help on that. In that case, what Oracle will do is, so depending on license so your client taken, for example, say your client taken the license, sorry, not license, subscription for payables only. In that case, Oracle will provide one mail ID for payables invoice imaging purpose. Say your client taken taken subscription for Fusion expense also. In that case, they'll provide separate mail ID for expense. Why these mail IDs are required? First, you have to contact Oracle saying that you've taken subscription for this invoice imaging solution, and if you are going with the expense also, expense imaging solution. In that case, you have to contact Oracle saying that the same, and you have to request for mail IDs. Oracle will provide the mail IDs. Once Oracle will provide the mail IDs, what we have to do is this. Let's take simple example as payables. Okay, let's take simple example as a payables invoices. Once you get these mail IDs, two options. You may get invoice from your supplier. That invoices, okay, that invoices you can email to Oracle by provided Oracle mail ID, by provide whatever the mail ID Oracle is providing. Say for example, you are a customer, okay, you are a customer to Oracle, and they may provide saying that your company is Fusion, they'll provide mail IDs similar to this, something like, say, I'll say, I'm not giving exact format of that, it's a big mail ID they'll be giving. Okay, I'll say cloud.oracle.com. Think this is a mail ID. So now this mail ID Oracle given, what Oracle is saying, if you have any invoices which you have to use invoice imaging solution, those all invoices you have to email to this. Once you send that invoice, once you email that invoice by to Oracle by using this email ID, that invoice will go to the imaging solution. Okay, Oracle will have imaging solution. Basically that server and all we call as IPM server. Okay, IPM server. IPM stands for imaging and process management. IPM server we call. IPM server stands for imaging and process management. Okay, Oracle will provide the email ID. You have to email that invoices information. Okay, you have to mail those on this email ID, the given email ID. Then automatically that information will go to IPM server. What Oracle will do is, for each client, by mapping that respective email ID, they will have a separate accounts in the IPM server from their end. Okay, we cannot have access to IPM servers, direct access. And one more point which is very important, when we are going to send the invoices, to Oracle, I mean when we are going to email that invoices to Oracle to IPM server, what Oracle says is you have to email those invoices in the respective formats only. say the formats we have something like uh, TIFF TIFF image formats. Okay, it can be the format, invoice format can be in the TIFF image format or JPG, and we have some other formats, even PDF format and Word also. Okay, these and all formats will be accepted by this IPM server. Okay, these all formats will be accepted by IPM server. And one more specification when we are dealing with that, what Oracle says is, when we are going to send any images in these formats, TIFF, JPG and PDF and Word formats, and you have to make sure that something it's I think, yeah, 300 there's some resolution, the point resolution, what we call as 300 dpi. Okay, that related to pixel, that is related to pixel, the quality should need to be maintained in that images. The TIFF or JPG or PDF Word format, whatever the scanned invoices you are sharing to the IPM server by using this Oracle given email ID, you have to make sure that 300 DPI need to be maintained. That you can speak to the client saying that this is what technically maintained in terms of pixel clarity and all. Then the client will take care of. But this is being a consultant. This is also we have to make a note so that accordingly we can have a communication with our client when they are scanning that 300 DPI. They will be maintaining. Okay, sorry. So that is a point we have to understand. Then once that is done, then the invoice can be you can email it automatically. It will go to the IPM server and all. And one more point, if you are going to use automatic numbering and all for invoices, so what I can say is POs, right? POs we have a manual numbering and automatic numbering and all. So because when we are creating the invoice, when we are sending the invoice image to Oracle, from scanning information, the scanned image system will be fetching all the information and it will create the invoice. It will support the process to create invoice automatically. In that process, if you have a case where you are giving the manual PO numbering, or else you put some suffix with some kind of process by following some kind of custom logic, whatever it may be, simple logic. In that case, we have to inform to Oracle saying that in our invoice PO number include some prefix, or every invoice will have so and so prefix, or else this is how we'll be writing the format and all. If it is a normal running sequence means okay, or else if you are going to put some prefix and all that, you have to inform to Oracle also. Otherwise, when the scanning IPM server is working, when it's trying to fetch, it will ignore PO number against the invoice. If it is ignoring when you are creating invoice in the PO, the lines and distributions cannot be generated. That will become issue if there is some PO number, if you are entering through manual process, or some prefix you are setting by following some logic and all. In that case, that also we have to intimate to Oracle. Okay, these are the points you have to consider. If you have any questions on this, let me know. If you don't have any questions, straight away I will go and I'll show you how to do in the system. Any questions on this?
Lakshman, one basic question.
Please.
So let's say, like, can the vendor send the invoices to the email?
Sorry?
On behalf of us?
Yeah, that is also possible. In
vendors-
that case, yeah, that's true. I thought of telling that point also, but I think I just forgot in this discussion. Yeah, one thing is you can mute if you don't mind. Yeah, thanks. Okay, one thing is you can get invoices from the vendor and you can email to that this IPM server. Otherwise, you can share your email ID to the client. You can just email. You can share that email ID to the client. The client also can directly send to IPM server. Okay, anyone can do that. Okay, done. Any other questions?
Hey Lakshman, this is Armstrong.
Yeah, Armstrong, please.
Only one question. In the cloud implementation, we get the email, and then I'm sending the invoices imaged scanned into that email address, and
Okay.
then that image has to translate it using the OCR. So as a functional consultant,
No.
I have to do a configuration in OCR side in the cloud environment?
No.
Okay.
That OCR and all you don't need to work and all. Just only see, you no need to have any knowledge on IPM server, how it works, nothing else. Only the point what you should know, you have to get the email IDs. and you have to make sure that your client, whatever they want to create invoices based on imaging, those they have to email it. Once that is emailed, the rest of process we are going to see now.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
we are going to see
I'll
that.
give it.
Yep, fine. If any further questions, we can see based on that. Okay, done. So in the same way for in case of expense also, think they will be separate. Okay, expense management, I'm just mentioning like that. This is how we'll have for expense also. If you want to take this, if you want to use this solution for expense also to scan and to create invoices, you can have a separate email ID Oracle will provide. Okay, done.
Lakshman, I have.
Yeah, please.
Hello.
Yeah.
Lakshman, it doesn't matter whatever the format of the invoice, they will take care of it.
That's what the format should be in these formats: TIFF, JPG, PDF, and Word.
I understand. Yeah, I understand that format. I'm talking about where the vendor number, PO number is placed, where the invoice number is placed.
That is not issue. That is not issue. That intelligence the IPM server has.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
That they have. That their Oracle will take care of. Okay. Fine. In which format the placing, I mean, where we have to place that number and all that we don't need to worry about. See, for each supplier will have their different format and the placing and all, right? So that is not an issue, but we have to make sure that that information should be there. Then that IPM server has that capability of identifying. Okay, done.
Yeah, in the previous softwares, you need to go through a learning process. That's why I asked.
No, here that capability this server has. Okay, done. So now the point which you have to understand is, okay, if you just the relevant concept here also we have. So payment formats, if you want to just change the formats, or if you want to create one, you have to go with a separate path, server path, right? Okay, here in the same way, just you can, I'm copying the same path. Okay, up to here, this is actual our server path. This is server path, right? And when we are going to with imaging, you have to add like just to access to that IPM server. IPM server means in IPM server with this email IDs, what are the account Oracle is creating. Within that account, what are the invoices scanned and submitted. To access those, we have to go to that, you have to follow the path called as imaging. That's what you have to type. Okay, you have to type imaging. That's it. Now we will see in our live environment. So this is a path. I'm just going to remove everything. Here, type imaging. You'll be accessing. Imaging. Oh, it's not coming. 713. Let me just refresh and try. Yeah, it's connecting. So just you have to try with imaging, then it will take you to that IPM server account related information which you have for specific your client. Take some time. It has to load that environment.
And the invoice image will be attached to the invoice, right?
Sorry?
After this.
No need to do that.
Will be attached.
Let me show you the process. Let me show you the process. If you don't mind, if you have any questions, I'm always happy to answer. Okay, we'll see that. See that definitely that should be there. Invoice is coming in the sense with invoice, along with that the reference. What I can say, attachment also should be there. That will be there. Okay, this is the one. Okay, that what the imaging solution, that area which they are allocating, that web center content imaging. Now. See, by default, you can see these two: expense report search and payables invoice search. So, based on the license, Oracle will be giving. If you take a license for imaging solution and all, if you are using expense also for expense related images, also you can access. Otherwise, only payables. Now, just I'm going with the payables. Payables invoice search. Okay. Here I'm going with the open search, or else you can search with the specific supplier related. Particular PO number or invoice number, all this information you can search, I'm going with open search. Click on search. Because since this is a vision instance for sample purpose, Oracle just scanned some invoices kept here. These are all the invoices. So you can see that the primary attributes what system will be identifying for the capturing process: invoice number, invoice date, invoice amount, supplier, and purchase order, and other registration document ID, other information. Okay, and once you scan the invoice, before you loading into payables, if you want to edit and all, you can update any information. I'm selecting this and I want to edit, I want to update it. Okay, certain parameter system will allow you to update. This is the actual original file name which Oracle received. Okay, and here you may change the supplier name if you think in that invoice wrong supplier information you got and all. If you want to change the PO number or invoice number, any information if you want to change. Okay, and if you want to provide this belongs to BU and all, you can do that. Okay, any changes you want to do, you can do it. Once you get this invoices information, these are directly in your client account. What are the invoices you emailed to Oracle, which are there in their IPM server. In the server, whatever invoice we have, those we are accessing with our account. Okay, done. Once you are able to see invoices here, this is how you can see invoices. What are the action you want to take on that, you can do that. If you want to copy any invoice, you can do that. If you want to change some with this, because of some critical reasons, if you want to change something, you can change it. Once you're done with that, okay, invoices are available here. Now what next step is, we have to import this invoices information to system. Before that, any changes required, you can do that. If you want to import into payables, what you can do is go to accounts payables, go to navigator, go to invoices. Okay, go to invoices. Here you can see scanned invoices. Okay, these many scanned invoices we have. Now in this list, the most of the invoices are scanned, because we know like this Fusion user have access to common set. The common set have access to almost all business units. That is the reason we are able to see, because these scanned invoices are not related to our what I can say business unit. Okay, here by default you don't find any invoices here, since you are once you send the invoices to Oracle through that email ID, those you can find in the web center only. Okay, which will refer IPM server related connectivity. You can find here only. If you want to import those invoices information into payables, if you want to see here, what you have to do is go to this task panel, and here you'll have task called as import invoices. Okay, go to import invoices task and select your business unit. Because here the process wise, select your business and I'll tell you the point. Fusion business unit. And one more point here, just don't give business unit. If you give business unit, the process is not working. Okay, in one of the implementation like this is our just experience, when we are trying with the BU, it's not importing. When we are not selecting the BU, even they given the parameter. Okay, in the earlier versions it was working in that way, but in the latest version, don't give any BU name. Just you have to try with the ledger. If you give BU name, it is not importing. Okay,
Lakshman, in case if I have 4 business units reporting to the same ledger, how do I make sure that it is entered in the right business unit, Lakshman?
Even that is our question to Oracle, but they suggested that as of now that function is not working in that way. They may fix that bug in their IPM server. But one point we are very clear. If you just routed that scanned invoices to IPM server, definitely you have to import. you may not take action on that to completing that invoice in your payables. Okay, so but that you may take as a valid point, or else you can just take it light, whatever. But the how it works as per current environment or function, I am just trying to explain. Okay, if you
No,
take,
I understand. I understand. So, will you be able to get multiple email addresses, one for each business unit, or will they give
no,
only one?
only one you will get. One for payables, one for expense.
Expenses.
That's it.
Expenses.
You don't
Okay.
get multiple, because with one account they'll do mapping with respect to the server related mapping account. So that's what.
So the
Okay.
business unit is your problem. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Thanks.
Yeah. Fine, done. So business unit you should not select. If you select, it will come, but it won't work. The process, it won't work. And source you have to select as invoice image. Okay, you have to select invoice image, and here nothing is mandatory. Directly you can go and submit. The current 11 we have that issue, but in the next version they may fix it. But as of now, that is issue we have. When you are testing or when you are working, you just note that point.
But to which?
Sorry. Hello, I'm not getting somebody speaking. I don't hear anything. Fine. I think I can guess that question somebody is was trying to ask which BU it goes and all. There will be PO number and all that information details, right? Okay. It will based on that it will identify which PO and which business unit and all. Okay. Fine, done. Now once you import, here you can see all the scanned invoices, scanned images. Okay, but in the current scenario you cannot. I request you to all mute from your end. I can hear some noise. I think Ganesh. Thank you. Fine, done. So here you can see, but now whatever import process you submitted, it won't import anything, because within that imaging system, what are the invoices we have all are imported only. So here, that is the process you have to follow. You have to import. Once you import, you can see all here what are the scanned invoices you have. So 19 we have. I think these all are those invoices only, import invoices only. You can see ABC, and this is how it got generated. I'm just selecting this. We'll open this. We can go through it. This is one of the invoice which is created here based on the image solution. Just click on this, it will open. Okay. Fine. So here you can find all this information. It is taken BU and all. If you want to change here some supplier went in wrong way, or if you want to change something, you can change it before you validate and proceed further. You can change any information. And for this there is no PO number. Okay, we'll try with some other invoice which you can see PO numbers also. Here PO number also missing here. If PO number is there as a part of that invoice, it will fetch that PO number also. That's what I'm trying to show. Here also we don't have. Let me try with other. They're also missing. It seems to there are no many, just here they didn't give many, just all those. Let me try one more last try. There could be in this. Yeah, if PO number is there, it will come here, and based on that PO number only, just system will create the lines information and all. Okay, fine. Otherwise, just you have to go with this process where manually just you will take all this information for matching and all you will be doing. And here you can find that image which is attached. You can click on that. You can see what is the image is scanned and taken. Data is extracted from which image of the imaging server. This is a scanned image. Based on this only, this invoice got generated. Yep. So seems to there is some question from someone. No. I thought somebody's trying to ask. Fine, leave it. Okay. So this is how it will be done. Even you just later, what we'll do is we'll validate this invoice and we'll do all these actions and we'll process for the payment. I think this already validation and everything's done. I guess. Just expand this. Validation incomplete. I think seems to there is some system hold. There is some system hold. 920. Okay, the amounts are totally different. 820 it should be. Any tax lines we have in that? Let me see. Hmm. 820, 820. Maybe seems to there is some issue with this invoice. I should accept. Save it. Save it and try.
Maybe it should be saved first.
Yeah. If you do some changes and if you open this, normal generally it's recommended to save. Okay, now let's try to validate it. If you open this, just any changes wherever you're navigating, based on that, save it first, then you can try. Saying needs evaluation. The line variance it is showing. The tax also calculated. Total amount should be 893. You should save it. That's a mandatory. Validate. Still issue. So line variance. Okay, here. Same line amount. Okay. 893. Fine. The tax calculation and this also involved. That is the reason it's not happening. No issues. Just anyway, we know just how to go and update and all this information. So this is a process to understand. Okay, that's how just you can go to that amazing server connectivity of Web Center, and there you can do some required changes. Otherwise, once you find invoice here, you can edit it. You can change some information, then you can save and you can take necessary action. And if your PO number is there in the scanned invoice, okay, that also will come. Where we have PO number, purchase order number, AND 1312.
Lakshman, I am not able to hear you.
We lost the
Same.
connection.
Yes.
We lost the connection. We lost the connection. I'm sorry for that. I could notice that. AND1. Those we don't have, not important. But that is a process. The P1 number we have, and that also will be fetched here. That based on that you can perform this. Okay. If any questions, please. Otherwise, we can wind up the session for today.
Lakshman, can I ask that question now, or in a different forum?
Yeah, we can discuss on that. The session is over. Okay, the session is over. We are going to wind up for today. If any questions and all, you can stay back and we can discuss now. Yeah, you can ask me now. Ganesh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lakshman, this is a scenario. What happens is they have invoices already in the system, right? for direct purchasing, and they create invoices through another system, and it is interfaced, right? And the vendor profile says, this is not going to be paid through electronic fund transfer or anything, but it is going to be drafted by the
No,
vendor
I'm not getting.
automatically.
I'm not getting this. You mean to say payment invoices you have in payables, right?
Yes.
Invoices you have
I'm
in
having
payables.
invoices and payables.
Okay.
Okay. Now, instead of you paying it, the vendor automatically takes the money.
Oh, vendor will take the payment from your account,
Payment.
right? On what base vendor is taking the payment from you, from client? There
The
should be.
vendor is given an automatic debit instruction, like
Mm-hmm.
automatic receipts for the vendor. He is taking it from the bank account. He has an agreement.
Okay, you just okay. It's fine. You some instruction. Okay, definitely you have to generate that instruction for which payments you want to. You have to generate the instruction, payment instruction file that will be remitting to the bank. Based on that only, the banker can just disperse the funds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, see, it says based on payment term. For example, if you have 10 invoices, based on payment term, probably a total of $10,000. So the vendor says, I'm going to give you a notification saying that I'm going to debit $10,000 from your account. So now it comes in bulk. Hopefully, we can talk to the bank and get it in detail with a reference number. So once it comes to the bank, now my job is to make sure that during the process of reconciliation, I'll have to close this payment, which is standing as open invoices now, because if I don't close the payments, it'll come in my aging. So how do I close this? Because from creating of external transactions, it doesn't look like it'll create
No,
a
no, no.
payment.
You have to take this process through payments only, because
Okay.
see, there is a case like where in two ways you may manage this situation, like where normally like you create first in our system by selecting the respective process as a method of the payment which you are processing. That same the instruction you can provide to the banker, the information what they require to disperse the funds from your account to that vendor accounts. And you may talk to that, as you said, you can talk to that bank to provide the reference number, and the reference number you may take, or else there are many other criteria for matching, right? If a reference number it won't work in your case, means you can take some other criteria for matching purpose. But ultimately you should create these payments from payables only. If you go with some external and all, that won't be the best solution as per my knowledge, because it's not
Yeah,
like
that's what I think.
if one or two means, yes, we can suggest some workaround and you can manage. This is just a basic simple transaction, rate transaction. But if that is going to the client regular business process, that has to be rooted with the standard process, that is payables. You have invoices there only. You should not. If there is something like you have a situation, you have one vendor is not your regular vendor, is standard vendor, just maybe one time. In that case, you from cash management directly you can create some ad hoc payments, and you don't need to create them as a supplier in the payables also. You can just XYZ you can write, and you can put some amount, you can put the payment method, and you can just submit that. It will create the payment record in the payables. For that, invoice also not required. Okay, invoice you don't need to create. Without invoice you can make the ad hoc payments.
It will perfectly work for utilities where you don't have an invoice. In our case, it has got an invoice. That's where I get into problems.
Yes,
But the
yes.
same thing, for example, if it is a utility, for example, rent, which is auto debited from your account,
Correct.
then I can say this is specific transaction is a rent, and then I can just debit rent account and be done with it through a cash management external transaction. But in this case, I'll have to create a payment, and the payment has to be applied to that invoice so that the invoice gets closed out.
Correct.
So then the only way to create a pay group probably and pay
Yeah,
everything
payable.
and then handle it.
That should be that standard process only need to be followed. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
There is no other thoughts. But how that?
No, that's the solution I gave to the client, but I just wanted to make sure that I'm not missing anything. That's why I just wanted to get your.
Yeah, that is all. That is always. And again, for matching purpose, reconciliation purpose, which criteria reference we will be using, again that on that we may discuss with the client and all. But process wise, yes, there is no doubt in that. Whatever you suggested, that is the best. Yep. So, fine. Yep. Fine then. So, any questions on today's session?
Nothing. It was very good, because last time when I took the class, I was not in a project,
Oh,
and it was all theory.
okay.
I have practical questions and facing the client everyday basis, so it's very useful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Ganesh. Fine. So, fine. Seems to no questions. Then we can wind up the session for today, and we'll connect tomorrow, same time, 7 o'clock. Fine. Thank you. Have
All
a
right.
good day and
Thank
good night. Thanks.